Can one movie save a franchise? It sounds like a dumb question. Of course not. But the more I thought about it, the more I remembered one of my favorite movies from my childhood. Today, we are going back to 1998 and looking at Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, a movie that completely reinvented Mystery Inc. We'll go behind the scenes to see how this movie was made, why it took so many creative risks, and whether one direct-to-video movie really can save a franchise. Our story actually starts nearly 30 years before Zombie Island, with the original series, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, in 1969. The first season was a huge success in the ratings, and was immediately followed by a second. While still popular, the ratings began to dip, and back in the 1970s, it was common for Saturday morning cartoons to end after only a few seasons. And with that, Scooby was dead. Fine, I kid. It was rebranded into the new Scooby-Doo movies. Ironically, while they had no idea where this franchise would eventually end up, the series unknowingly took one of the first small steps towards Zombie Island by expanding each mystery into an hour-long adventure. Now let's jump ahead to 1991. Turner Broadcasting purchased Hanna-Barbera, and a few years later, in 1994, reruns of the original series began to air on Cartoon Network, introducing Mystery Inc. to a whole new generation of fans. Around this time, Warner Bros. Got quite the scale. No, not like that. Their new movie, Batman Mask of the Phantom, was originally planned as a straight-to-video movie, but the executives got cold feet at the last minute and decided to release it in theaters. The movie bombed and looked like a complete disaster, but it got its second chance when it came out on home video, becoming one of the highest selling home videos of the year, proving that a movie based on a beloved franchise did not need a theatrical release to be successful. So, Warner Bros. Asked a simple question: why not try this again? Starting with a small team of animators who all loved Scooby-Doo, but they couldn't agree on the one thing that made the movie stand out. Jim Stenstrom, a huge fan of classic movie monsters, wanted the monsters to be real. Glenn Leopold completely disagreed. As one of Scooby-Doo's biggest defenders, he believed exposing fake monsters was the reason fans loved the franchise in the first place. Then Davis Dowie stepped in. He argued that while the classic formula worked perfectly for a 20-minute television episode, it wasn't enough to carry the climax of a feature-length movie. Eventually, after plenty of debate, they found a compromise, where they would have a mix of both. For the casting, most of them were new to the Scooby-Doo family, with only Frank Walker returning as Fred. Heather North, the original voice of Daphne, was also supposed to return, and even recorded lines for the movie. But Davis Dowie ultimately decided her voice no longer matched the more serious direction they wanted to take, leading to a new actress taking her place. Cassie Kasem was also invited back as Shaggy, but declined due to creative differences, asking for Shaggy to be a vegetarian? leaving Billy West to step into the role. BJ Ward, who had voiced Velma in the Johnny Bravaro crossover a year earlier, returned once again to play the character. Sadly, Don Messick, the original voice of Scooby-Doo, passed away in 1997 before production began. He was replaced by radio host Scott Innes, who had previously no acting experience. I can definitely see how this movie brought the franchise back. Instead of simply copying the original, it modernizes a proven formula, while still respecting everything that came before. The animation is probably the best example of this. It keeps the classic Scooby-Doo designs, but gives them a more modern anime-inspired look. At the same time, the hand-painted backgrounds feel like they were lifted straight out of the original series. And for a traditionally animated movie, the amount of shading is honestly incredible. I actually didn't realize it was 2D until I looked it up. But Zombie Island is much more than just a shiny reboot. It feels like the beginning of a bold new era that isn't afraid to change. The gang has grown up and gone their separate ways, meeting the audience exactly where they were at the time. Throughout the movie, they slowly rebuild their friendship, just as we reconnect with the characters many of us grew up with. It also allows each member of Mystery Inc. to grow in new ways we have never really seen before. Even the music grows with its audience, trading the classic Saturday morning sound for a more punk grunge inspired style with songs like It's Terror. Could you stop that please? Thank you. It's Terror time again. And a brand new recording of the Where Are You theme song. I also think the decision to include both fake and real monsters gives us the best of both worlds. We still get the classic unmasking at the beginning, but once the story really gets going, the movie isn't afraid to lean into a much bigger, more cinematic experience. It makes the movie feel like an event that forever changes the status quo. At the same time, the movie never forgets where it comes from, whether it's small callbacks or new scenes that respect who these characters are. It can be dark, more atmospheric, and even genuinely creepy, but it also knows when to be funny. It never stops feeling like a Scooby-Doo movie. After all this, I would say yes, one movie can save a franchise if it's willing to be bold and daring, giving us a new take on the franchise instead of just more of the same.